everyone, welcome back. It's still you and your health on Fresh FM 105.3, and we are still live in the studio. And like I said, you can watch us live on Facebook by just typing Fresh FM Lagos. Before we head down to our discussion today, I would love to discuss about this important information just dished out to us about monkeypox. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control has confirmed 157 cases of monkeypox across 26 states in the country. And this was contained in the report for week 30. That's the situation report as regards monkeypox. And at the moment, Nigeria is one of the countries in Africa where the disease is endemic. The agency said from January 1st to July 31st, 2022, 4 deaths were recorded in 4 states: Delta, Lagos, Ondo, and Akwa Ibom. That's one each. And the report also showed that there were at least 413 suspected cases of the disease in the country. And overall, since the re-emergence of monkeypox in September 2017 and 31st of July 2022, a total of 925 suspected cases have been reported from 35 states in the country. It's important for us to know that monkeypox is out there, and we need to do all it takes to keep ourselves safe. Alright, let's now head down to our discussion today. Today we are discussing about cholera outbreak in Nigeria, symptoms and prevention. That's what we're talking about today. Before I introduce a guest, I want to say a little bit about cholera in Nigeria. Is an endemic and seasonal disease occurring annually, mostly during the rainy season and more often in areas with poor sanitation. With the first series of cholera outbreaks reported between 1970 and 1990. That's according to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. They said that cholera can kill within hours if left untreated. So I'm not a doctor, but then that's just an overview of our discussion today. So we're talking about cholera outbreak in Nigeria, symptoms and prevention. Joining us on this discussion is a doctor with amazing creativity. If I say creativity, you would know when I introduce him. Dr. Chinonso Fidelis Egemba, popularly known as Aproko Doctor. Good evening, doctor.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Many thanks for joining us. I know so many people don't really know your real name. I know so many, but people know you to be Aproko Doctor.
Yes, they know me to put the amount in their business. So I'm doing Aproko everywhere. Yeah,
but really, it has been so helpful with the way you've been dishing out content, and that has to do with health. It has been so helpful, and I really commend you for that. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now let's head straight to our discussion today. Cholera outbreak in Nigeria, the symptoms and prevention. There is a re-emergence of cholera outbreak in Nigeria, and we really need to be informed about what to do and what not to do. So now let me start with, what exactly is cholera?
So cholera is a disease, just like you mentioned, caused by a bacteria known as Vibrio cholerae.
Okay.
This is one bacteria that is found in water, basically.
Okay.
But usually seawater, usually found on chitinous plankton, so on the shells of fish, on the shells of crabs and all that.
Okay.
But one thing that has happened is, aside from that, there has also become human-to-human transmission.
Okay.
So let's say a person goes to toilets and does not wash his hand properly and uses it to serve someone else food, that person could get infected with cholera.
Okay.
Or this person goes to the toilet but because of the poor sanitation, because one of the things you mentioned is cholera is found where there's poor sanitation.
Yeah.
Now, probably the water system is not functioning properly. Or that area is prone to flooding, and there are just too many things. And what happens is these particular cholera now gets into the water system that other people drink. And when they drink that, they get infected with cholera system. From getting into the system, there are some groups of people that find it easier to get cholera.
Okay.
One group, and I think for the for the purpose of explanation, one group are the people whose stomach acid is not as much as others.
Okay.
Now that is because cholera has to first survive the acidity of the person's stomach. Now once it passes that acid nature of the stomach, it gets straight into the intestines and then puts on a switch that allows chlorine gets into the person's intestinal lumen.
Okay.
Now, from that, wherever you find chlorine, water follows. That's why it's very easy for someone to die from cholera, because a lot of water is poured into the person's intestine. Yes, and this water is not coming in from the water the person drank. It's coming from the water in their blood. It's coming from the water in their lumen.
So not from the water.
Not from the water you even drink. So it's taken from the water in your blood already, pouring it into your system, and then you're passing it out.
Wow.
So that's why it's very easy. In 3-4 hours, in short, less than 12 hours, people can die.
Okay.
But there are some people who have survived.
And in layman language, just explain the causes of cholera.
So the major cause of cholera is poor sanitation, bad water. The major route is what we call fecal-oral transmission. So what that simply means is from feces or from shit. I hope I'm allowed to say shit on radio. From feces to their mouths.
Okay.
Now, how does this occur? It is either from somebody who defecates in a place where people drink water from, or just this person does not clean his hands properly and then can infect others also. Okay,
so let's talk about the symptoms of cholera.
So the symptoms of cholera basically are tied to dehydration.
Okay.
Now, remember we mentioned earlier that this cholera puts on a switch in the person's intestine that just pours water into their intestinal lumen. What you have is sometimes some people could get drowsy. Some people could have, the major symptom is diarrhea. Lots of it.
Yeah.
Now, this diarrhea is usually not bloody.
Because I was about to ask you, what is the difference between cholera and diarrhea?
Yes.
After this
so, there's diarrhea that is mixed to your stool.
Okay.
That's for those who are listening who have had that kind of diarrhea. It's basically your stool, but it's just watery. Right? For cholera, it's different.
Okay.
For cholera, it's not your stool. It's water. So initially it may come out as mixed to your stool, but then over time this person just passes water from their anus. Now this water has a particular feel. It looks like rice water. So when you wash rice, that water that is left, that is a little bit grayish or whitish, that's what comes out of that person. So that is one major symptom. It's usually not bloody. If it's bloody, it's rare. It's usually not cholera. That's one. And then two, this person could get drowsy.
Okay.
This person, and in extreme cases, this person could have kidney failure. In extreme cases, this person could have kidney failure because, like I said, the kidneys are not getting enough fluid from their